jumped on that bank thing pretty quick. I didn't realize those guys worked on the weekend. On that. Just to be, you know, it collapsed on Friday, and by Monday, I mean, they had a plan. By Monday 9 a.m., they had a plan. They were gonna get it. I was like, wow.
Ready to go? All right, since we have everyone here, we'll go ahead and call the meeting to order. Chris, can you take roll, please?
Ted Cerner,
Here.
Brian Huff,
Here.
James McGee,
Here.
Matil Patul. Sorry.
Yeah.
Matul Patel. Sean Patel.
Here.
Gary Perry.
Here.
Justin Wilkins.
Here.
Okay. All right, does everyone have a copy of the minutes?
I move we approve the minutes of February the 14th.
Second match.
Got a motion and second to approve the minutes from our February meeting. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. No old business? Okay, we've kind of got some new business that was old business. And I want to go out of order here. But Melinda, if you want to go ahead and talk to us about the farmer's market and your needs there, and then the Oaken Hall Park.
Okay, I will. Yes. These are my childcare business cards, which is not what this is about. There's one of each. Let me have this one. Thank you.
Complicated now.
Yeah.
Good about it.
So I'm Melinda McSpadden. I don't know all of you, but I've lived in Alma since I was a sixth grader, and this is home for us. Mike retired from the Alma School District. I worked for the Alma School District for 15 years and then went into private business. My mom was operating City College in Alma, and so I took that over for her when she wanted to start traveling with my dad. And that kind of thrust me into a really big picture, including being asked to develop the early childhood program in Abu Dhabi in the United Arab Emirates. And so I've been really blessed to make really cool connections. And the truth of the matter is, I'm a really big person, like big picture person, because I like to plan big projects and get teams together and do things. And so what I'm here to talk about today is the Oak and Hall Park. That property is right over here at the corner of Oak and Hall. And I'll be developing there with a team of people a natural playground space, much like this. And so when you look at this kind of talks about the research behind natural play, and it's perfect for Arkansas. In the child care business, we've done natural play playgrounds on some of our playgrounds, and it's a really awesome thing to watch kids climb on tree trunks and big rocks and those kinds of things. And so if you'll take a look at that, there will be some of those things. Of course, there are a lot of things here that won't fit on that property over there because it's pretty small. But my point is, it will be a natural play. It will not be in competition at all with Christella Park, which is going to be large structure, you know, lots of that kind of thing. It's not our intent with this. This park will be birth to 5 years old, and so it's going to be specific to young families with young kids. Up to the age of 5 is what it will be built appropriate for. And we also are adding elders, seniors, senior citizens. And so this paper right here kind of shows you some of the things that we're really going to be looking at in this. And so if you drive by over here, you'll see piles of rocks. So some of that is kind of an eyesore right now, I know, But some of that are rocks that were from the old church that was there. And I asked the city to save those so that we could use those because we want to do some rock wall around the perimeter and use those for decorative pieces and that kind of thing. The rest of those rocks came off of the Kitty College Alma Park playground when I sold that a year ago to Peds Plus. And so they have a poured surface kind of vision. And so they'll be not doing natural playscape, and they said, yes, we'd love for you to have them. So their construction crew, when they got them all up, brought them down here, and I said, just dump them, and they did. So that's where they are. So all of those things will be used in some of the landscape of it. But if you look at this, and if you have any questions, I can answer most anything. The truth of the matter is, this project I estimate to be about a $500,000 mark, about $500,000 that I've got to raise. And so the first grant I wrote was to AARP nationally. Did not get any funding nationally, and all of a sudden from Arkansas, AARP, they sent us a check for $62.50. And so I had my first seed money from AARP for senior items. So we'll do for seniors, we're gonna do swings and benches. We're gonna do some light exercise stations around the walking trail. And we'll also have permanent game tables, like a concrete chessboard that they can go to the library and check out chess pieces or checkers or whatever, or bring their own. And so I'm really gonna focus on our seniors hanging out with our youngest citizens, because I think that that's a really important piece. Lots of young kids, including my own grandkids, are way away from grandparents. I've got 4 grandbabies outside of DC and 1 in Nashville, and it is not fun. And so I'm gonna hang out up here with other people's grandkids. And so anyway, that's kind of the way that will work. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer those.
Are there
Anything about that?
Are there any other parks like this in the area, in the region?
There are not. You might think about, well, I'll tell you, a really cool one is War Memorial Park in Little Rock. They developed that whole golf course area. It's 117 acres. So it's really massive compared to what our Oaken Hall Park will be. But it has some really cool pieces. And so if you look at the back page, this is War Memorial. But this is the kind of thing we're talking about doing. So this park will have a very small splash pad with flow off water. We're not gonna have to test water. It'll have a hand pump, and they pump out to play in a sand trough. And then this will be a push button thing that lasts so long, kind of a deal, all right? And so this is War Memorial, which I think is a really cool thing. But it looks like they're playing in a dry creek bed or something like that, instead of something, bright colored and those kinds of things. So that's kind of what it will look like. Let's see, what else about that? Anything else about park?
Well, is there any funds available that you can apply for to?
Yes. There are. Let me tell you a little bit about that. Right now, this is being sponsored by Western Arkansas Child Development / Community Development. You see my logo at the top. I'm almost retired, thank you, Lord. I got in the business of opening Arkansas Better Chance programs, which is public pre-K in Arkansas. That's just moved to the Department of Ed, and had one of the largest private provider programs in the state. And I'm done with some of that kind of stuff. I'm too old. Some of these 22-year-olds don't want to work for Melinda. This is a long, hard day. But anyway, I have a retirement plan in place. I have 2 large centers in Northwest Arkansas, so I'm up there a lot. And in another year, I should be out of there and doing community work with Mike. Mike hangs out in prisons and with homeless people. And I'm going to hang out with the folks in Alma in the downtown area. And so right now, Western Arkansas Child Development is funding anything for the park through donations. We are a 501c3, and so I'll continue to do that.
How many grants have you written?
Well, I've written about 10, but got
For this-
funded for none.
Okay.
And so here's part of the issue. I don't really have any credibility in that grant writing world. In childcare, I wrote millions of dollars of grants for our program. But in this world, I need some things to happen to kind of build some traction, if you will. So I need to get started on some things over here, right? And along with that is the farmer's market thing. I started working with the farmer's market over a year ago and just talked about how we ought to be bringing back things there. I will tell you that about 4 years ago with Marilyn Sneed as the director of the chamber, she and I tried to bring back a real farmer's market. Won't work in Alma, Arkansas, because my friends sell their wares, all of their corn and their beans and their new potatoes out of their front yard. And so because really of social media and those kinds of things, that's really a hard gig. I do have a plan for this spring where I'm gonna go to local farmers. I'm gonna buy their stuff. I'm gonna bring it down here and I'm gonna sell it at their stuff. I want people to know it's Dean's or it's Black's tomatoes or whatever, but I'm gonna have to purchase that to be able to do it, because they're not gonna haul their stuff up here to sell it just in case people show up, right? The reason I can do that is my nonprofit. I have a food pantry, and it's right now located because I have a partnership with Crawford County Adult Ed. And so if I don't sell it all down here, then I will give it away at my food pantry in Denver, and so that it doesn't go to waste. That's the reason I can do that. So at the farmer's market, on that part, you can see some of the things we've done over the last year and a half and what future plans are. If you look at future plans, we want to do some of the same kinds of things that are listed there, like, we did a hometown Christmas, that was a market, and people who made homemade jams and jellies and crocheted and all of those kind of woodworking and toys and all those kinds of things came. We had a really good Saturday morning. We don't charge anything for people to use that facility. The chamber actually manages it under the auspices really of the city. The city does maintenance and, hauls the trash off after events and things like that. We've had weddings there. We've had rehearsal dinners there. We've had baby showers there. We've done a lot of different things there. It's a really awesome space. But with part of the money that I am requesting from you guys, I want to make it a little bit easier for me to do events by getting tarps that are removable that we can store, but we can drop in cold weather, because I get pretty miserable in December and January in that cold. So that's why I didn't do anything this year. It was just really cold the year before. And so I kind of have stopped that just because it's really, really hard to be there when it's really cold weather. So anyway, future plans. I've talked to a train engineer, retired train engineer that builds trains, real trains for children. And so we're going to have a train where kids can ride the train, like maybe at Food Fest and Liberty Fest and some of those kinds of things. It is a train that doesn't have a track. It's on wheels. You see them a lot of times. Think about Disneyland or Disney World or Six Flags, and they have the little tram things. This is going to be an Airedale Express train. And so Bob is helping me with that, so we'll be fundraising for that as well. That will cost a lot of money, so that's also on our agenda. So we have a lot of things planned. So here's really what my thought is. The Alma Area Chamber is about to get ready to be really involved with a group. We hope we're applying this next in fact, this month, at the end of the month. We're applying for membership into Main Street Arkansas that is joined with Main Street America. You can look that up. It's a really great organization that comes with engineers and architects and all kinds of professional design people. And so being a part of that group will be a really great thing for Oaken Hall and for the farmer's market and for anything else that goes on right here on this downtown street. What we want to do is keep the things we really hold dear about downtown Alma, but really make it be a place that people come to. And so we're gonna start with, we've started a little bit with Oaken Hall. At Oaken Hall, I had anywhere from 40 visitors on Saturdays to 150 visitors. And the truth of the matter is, they were not really from Alma proper. A lot of people travel and do those kinds of things. I mean, they will spend a Saturday going to every little Saturday event around. And so anyway, I know what will happen is when we get this thing and we kind of get some traction, we're gonna have people come. I know what Mike and I do when we travel with our 5 grandkids. We get sandwiches from a restaurant and we go to parks. And that's what we do. And we see lots of people doing that. And so that's what we want to do right over here in conjunction with some things that we have planned for downtown Alma. So anyway,
So at the bottom of this,
uh-huh,
you're asking for 10,000?
I am. I'm asking for $10,000 to spend on both of these projects.
Okay, so you want 10,000 for both. These are not
Total.
separate requests, one for the farmer's market, one for the park.
You can decide where you want me to spend it. That's fine with me. There are some things I need to fundraise for and to kind of kickstart all of this thing. I've got to get some design people and some engineers and architects involved in the park situation. And so I'm gonna really start kicking off some fundraising.
I don't think we should decide where, because where the best place for it to be used. Okay. And so, we can give you 10,000, you can use it wherever you feel that you need.
Well, it would definitely be on, these 2 things, because that's where my heart is right now. And I'm really ready to get it done. I really want to get it done.
Okay.
That was our last meeting that we had before.
So
Any questions?
that's what, if there's not any more
If I
questions,
remember.
we got discussion
I
here.
think
I'll
it
wait until
was,
they
but that was
finish
the
the
5,000
discussion before I make that motion.
5,000
They were
for
two
the-
different.
for the down. Well, I thought it was farmer's market, and then it was down, becoming a member of the.
No, that one did set aside 2,500 for, but that's a whole separate. Yeah.
But that
That's for
other,
Main Street.
but that other meeting, that 5,000 was, that was kind
That
of
was-
similar to what we were talking about.
Yeah,
For
yes.
buying chairs and
Buying chairs,
tarps
buying
and
tarps.
and all that.
Yes.
So. This is. Farmer's market. Tables, chairs.
Okay.
That's what.
But we didn't vote on that because we didn't have a quorum, right?
Correct. And then last month, we didn't vote because we wanted the rest of the commission to hear her presentation. But that, the way we talked about it in the fall was 10,000 for just farmer's market and the park was separate. So if we want to do 10,000
For each one? Is that what you're saying, Brian?
Well, we had a
I think-
presentation and we didn't have a quorum.
I think
That was just for the farmer's market and
as
we had discussed.
as various entities of the city are trying to drive tourism. And when, we're with tourism, but there's others just trying to drive people to come back downtown for things. I think the farmer's market is critical because that's the event place that we have. I think we as A&P need to invest in downtown.
Absolutely.
And I think the farmer's market is probably the most critical and the most, we could see
It's the most
a quicker return.
Quicker return, yes.
A quicker return
Well,
on
it's already-
investment.
It's already built. Don't have to build farmers.
Right.
I mean, so I would entertain a 10,000 for just the farmer's market, with it being to buy tables, chairs, tarps, things that we need to make that a better event venue. Even I know when we have farmers markets down there and you try to have a band or whatever, the electricity would not hold it.
No, it doesn't.
So, I mean, things like that are improvements that we need to
Is there a
look at
sound-
as a city and A&P.
Is there a sound system down there?
No, there's not. There's really not anything.
The
A restaurant,
park,
storage room.
we're just so far out on. I don't mind
So,
pledging or
you're talking about pledging 10,000 in the future. You're looking at 10,000 right now for the farmer's market, and of course, knowing Melinda, she's gonna be back in 2 months to ask for another 10,000 for the park. Okay, so. All right, so is that what you're saying?
is right, 10,000 for farmers market,
Okay,
and then pledge 10,000 for the park
at a later date.
at a later date when there's been more development.
Okay,
And
okay,
that way she can use that in her grant writing
Yes,
that
okay.
we
All right.
pledged. That
yes.
Great idea.
That's kind of the issue right now is, I've got to get some traction,
Okay,
and some funding, promises and
I just-
actual dollars to be.
I think this park is unique to the area. I think it'll be something that people want to come downtown to see and let their
Absolutely.
kids play
I'm
at.
gonna tell you
Absolutely.
guys,
absolutely.
people really seek out these kinds of parks because every school in America has the other kind,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
And I don't mean that in a bad way. I'm just saying this is different, it's unique. A lot of people don't do it because a lot of people think it's unsafe, and it's not.
Look how big the gathering place is.
Yes, the gathering place in Tulsa, like you've been.
Are you really? Oh.
Oh, my word, it's, yeah,
It's spectacular.
yes, it's crazy.
So anyway, I would say let's do it in two separate motions.
hey, that's fine.
Uh,
Okay. All right, I can make that motion.
I second that motion.
All right.
Got a motion, a second. This is for the farmer's market to give the farmer's market $10,000 for the use of, the needs there to put on better events.
Okay.
So, got a motion, second, discussion. All in favor? Anyone opposed?
And so I'm gonna make another motion pledging 10,000 for the park at a later date.
Okay. Got a motion to pledge 10,000 for the Oaken Hall Park. To be given at a later date, once progress is further down the line. I've got a motion, do I have a second on that?
I'll say.
Okay, got a second? Discussion on that? All in favor of, say aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, I also want to make a statement concerning that. Okay, and so that is truly, truly, truly blessed land. And the reason I say that is I labored, preached, taught, sung, praised, worshiped in that old church for 12 years there. All right, special place, and I was like heartbroken when we had to tear it down, and Melinda
Sure.
mentioned the rocks. That was the only thing that was saved from that building. It was just a rock, you know, and it's just like, up on this rock, in my church, in the gates of hell, should not prevail. Okay,
It's a
So
sweet
glad-
story.
absolutely.
It's a sweet story.
Yeah, for 12 years there. And by the way, that land was donated. The land was donated to the city by the Brown family.
Yes.
And so once we dedicate the park, we need to remember,
It's in my list.
okay, to invite
I've got
them as well.
All right.
What was his first name?
I think it was, you know, we.
Was it Bill? Was it Bill? I don't
No,
know.
not Bill Brown. All right, related. He lived down by the cemetery.
Well, so that's what it feels like to be before Congress, huh?
Yeah, congressional hearing there. You did well.
Absolutely.
Larry, did you have anything today on geofencing or?
Yeah, so, here, I'll just get up real fast. Here, James, good to see you over on that side of the table. Right. As far as that goes.
Private joke.
Larry, you can stand over there in your normal spot.
Yeah, this was closer, it's been a busy day at work. Yeah, so the updates as far as the analytics, as far as like visitors, things along those lines. Basically, this is where the culmination. Would like to schedule some time at the next A&P. Was hoping to get this done, potentially this meeting. Life happens, people go figure March. People are on, spring breaks right across the board.
Gotcha.
So I would like to get that on the agenda for the next meeting. As far as it goes, there's two different companies that would like to have the conversation. There's a difference in price. Obviously, there's a difference in capabilities. So ones that we've talked to from a city perspective of it over the last couple of years. One of them is a little bit more familiar than the other one, but one of the companies does also do work with like City of Fayetteville and some of the other surrounding municipalities. So there's some give and takes on both of those. So needless to say is we'll table it. If y'all are receptive to, a 30-minute long conversation prior to at the next A&P meeting. If that happens to be in April, great. If that happens to be a later date, that's fine.
Okay.
All right, so
Okay.
that's all.
How big of a lead time do you need for this presentation?
About a week to 2 weeks just to lock in schedules. The good thing is based on the conversation that we had, that the reports have already been generated.
Okay.
So out of the two locations that we kind of chose for this, for inside the city, one of them happens to be the aquatic park, near and dear to my heart to a certain degree. But, we have the aquatic park as well as the walking trails on, the Lake Alma trails on the north side.
Okay.
As far as that goes. So the mountain bike trails, things along those lines.
We'll, I guess Chris can observe, and if we don't have a lot of requests or for presentations next, we may not meet again till May, but.
Yeah. And that's what I kind of figured. That's why I kind of teed it up with those folks.
We try to have a deadline of the end of the month previous, so we'll go off that and let you know.
Yep. So yeah, just about 2 week lead time. If y'all can get that, we can do it a week, but 2 weeks would be better for us. So thank you.
Yeah, I totally. But there's something else there.
Okay.
All right, visitors guide.
So I'll pass this around, front and back, I can look at it. Basically, I sent this email, the pricing for this for 2,500 is $431.36, plus tax.
So how many did you say?
For 2,500.
2,500 was how much? 400 what?
$431 plus tax.
Is there a price bracket that's larger per?
I mean,
I I think you're gonna give out 2,500 in about 10 seconds.
Well, I mean, they're gonna go to the
Correct.
visitor
The visitor
centers
centers.
and hotels. I mean, we ordered 2,500 of these, and these are ready to go as well. So I was gonna give these to out, but, and we only sent like, I think 500, around 500 to the visitor center. So I mean, yes, they'll,
You've already sent them?
yes.
So you sent 5, the visitor center, so you send them to Little Rock and then they distribute them, is that what you're doing?
No, just to the local,
You just send it to the one down here?
yes.
Chris, would you pass some?
There you go.
I've seen. Oh, you have? the-
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Sorry.
You
You can take the whole
Do you-
stack here. To your hotel.
Yeah. So,
So is this plus this, is that correct?
No, this is,
This,
This is done.
this
this
one's
is
done.
done.
this one done, right?
So
Okay,
this is 2,500 for that.
yeah, for,
Okay, so they're gonna go to the
431.
same location, visitor center?
yes,
Okay, all right. So this is just extra. This has got the restaurants on it.
yes. And there's a map on the back side.
And so is there a price break as the amount?
It does get cheaper, but 2,500 is kind of like the average number, if that makes sense. So like 1,000 is $294. So it is cheaper to go with
Like
2,500.
what's 10?
So they're like-
10,000.
They're 10,000. I'd have to get with them on the price, but
Okay.
if we wanted to do something like that, it's.
Well, I'm with him. I think the 2,500 is gonna be
I
going
do too.
like
Yeah, I
that.
think we
And
need
if
more.
there's gonna be a price break for doing more on the
Absolutely.
front side, we ought to save that money on
Yeah,
the front side as opposed to
I
giving
agree.
out the first 2,500 and then going, yep, we need some more.
Well, I mean,
The other thing on this though is, this is restaurants. So we have restaurants open and close.
Yeah.
Several times a year. So I don't know if we want to get, it's just playing devil's advocate. Too many printed and then have old restaurants and not our new restaurants.
Yeah,
And
McDonald's
then we've got,
McDonald's and Taco Bell aren't going anywhere.
McDonald's, Taco Bell.
The entire town can be demolished and McDonald's and Taco Bell will be open.
well,
So,
Chris, do you have a price for 5,000?
I do not.
I think we probably could get 5,000 just for a little bit more.
I forget the exact, I think it's like 16 cents a piece. I have to do the math real quick, but.
Everything that I do, it always gets cheaper the more you do.
Right,
You
no,
know
and
what I mean?
that's the
Per
case
count,
here.
so.
while y'all are doing
If I
math.
can interject, that,
Jack.
the 2,500 that we typically buy lasts usually more than a year, and that's sitting in the Texarkana Visitor Center out here. And there's not a whole lot of restaurants here that have a place for us to put them, so they don't want stacks of them sitting around. So we've never used more than 2,500 in more than an 8 to 12 month period.
There you go.
But there's
In the
17
time I've been.
at the 2,500.
Hey, Candy.
Yes,
So,
sir.
we're doing math and discussing some other things. Candy wants, remember when we gave flyers for the Airedale Car Show?
Sure.
She's got some flyers we gave her.
Very
So she just wanted to give everybody a flyer for the car show coming up.
Okay.
Come on in and interrupt, and we would appreciate it.
I'm sure there's a lot of demand for a 93 Dodge pickup, but that's about all I got that would qualify for the show.
We actually have it split up between old ones and new ones.
There you go.
Awesome.
This is true, but I have to call back the foot doctor because it's swollen up. Yeah, that's.
Okay, well, whichever one y'all wanna do.
Well, if we're not gonna use them, we're not gonna use them. You know,
My concern would be with the new parks and things that we have coming up, we're gonna wanna update that periodically. And if you're gonna be throwing away old ones, yeah, new ones. which is what we're doing right now.
Makes total sense to
It
me.
does.
2,500 bid, sounds like.
Okay, I think that's a good place to start.
Yeah.
We'll see if we can get rid of them or not.
Well, it sounds like maybe we need to try to dig a little deeper into how to distribute. You know, if we're not going through them, you know, then obviously we're not spreading the word. You know what I mean? And as far as that goes.
She could reach out to more visitor centers, because we've always just waited for them to reach out to us.
Well, and I talked to her a few days ago, and she mentioned that she had a number of visitor centers that were reaching out to her. Of course, now that we have somebody full-time, you know, pursuing that, hopefully, you know, we see some more progress. I mean, obviously, that's her full-time job now, so.
Absolutely.
You're talking
You
about
know.
the chamber?
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Not yet.
I'll make a
Can I
motion
entertain
that we do 2,500.
Got a motion and second to print 2,500.
Yep.
Of the visitors guides at the estimate of $431.36. All in favor? Any opposed?
I will say that I'll make updates to it as we go, like as businesses open up and things like that. That's the plan, is to add.
I will try to be in business this time next year, despite your pessimism in my ability to serve a pancake that somebody would eat.
Restaurants are just so, it's tough, man. Price of eggs.
There's no, hey, you're preaching to the choir.
All right, surplus funds. Seeing if we want to invest any of those in a CD, just to kind of give you some background. Right now, we have on our revenue account a balance of $493,801. We have currently 3 CDs. 2 of them are at $60,000. One of them is at $120,000. Those CDs were earmarked as emergency funds, I guess is the best way to describe those, in case there's another corona outbreak or something where the world's shutting down for a little bit. We still have some money we can dip into when the world comes back online to promote events. So this,
What's the interest rate on that? They're in the
2 of
ones,
them,
aren't they?
no, the 2s that are at 60,000 are at 4.25,
Really?
4.33 yield. And then the 121, I think is at like 2.5.
When does that one expire?
They all expire next April and May. This one goes all. So anyway, we have in our revenue account around 493. We budgeted expenses of 241 for the year. So that, you know, leaves 250 right there. Plus we got income that'll be coming in throughout the year. At our last meeting, someone suggested we probably stick 300 back. Because if it's not, if we're not using it right now, let's have it work for us and get a little interest so that when the right project comes up, we've got a little bit more funds in the coffers. So, I'd like to entertain discussion on that.
What's the rate we can get today?
OZK has a 12-month at 5%, or 13-month at 5%. Citizens is 4.33 yield. Those are the 2 local rates that I know of off the top of my head.
And 5% on 300,000 would be
15,000.
well. You said it was 14 months.
13.
13 months.
Uh,
There's nothing that we do that generates money. this is an opportunity to generate money. You know, and if we can generate, you know, $30,000, that pays for someone's project or puts a down payment on somebody's project.
Sure.
Or is, you know, 15 car shows or wherever that ends up going. We don't have any opportunities other than the revenue we collect to generate any additional revenue. And I don't know that we're going to see 5% interest rates forever. Obviously, my savings account was earning a whopping 1.25% up until, you know, 6-8 months ago. I think this is a rare opportunity that probably won't come around again very, very soon. I would say that, you know, we need to decide how much money we want to put in there, and I think it's an excellent idea to help fund someone else's project 14 months from now.
And we also still have the OZK CD.
Okay, yes.
We've got our reserve CD from our bonds that'll be coming due here in the next couple of months, isn't it? So that money will be coming
How
back
much,
in.
how much is that?
It's about 63.
63,000?
Yeah, there's some change on that, but it's 63. I would recommend not going with Bank OZK though, because it's been a nightmare dealing with them, just FYI. Just throwing that out there. You vote how you want, but
Big bank. The thing,
Citizens is like much easier. So.
the thing about Citizens too is if something happens and we need to get into those funds, we won't have a penalty. They'll waive the penalty to let us go.
Yeah, Bank OZK is not the same. They will not waive the penalty. We tried, they will not. So.
What amount of money do we want to put in? I mean, if we have the 66 coming back, 300 really doesn't even put us close to being in any kind of worst case scenario issue.
I think 300 is a very safe.
So
Very safe number.
300,000
Mm-hmm.
at, you said 4.25?
433.
Well, it's a 4.25.
4.33?
It's a 4.25 interest rate with a 4.33 yield.
About 13.5 or something.
You know, and if interest rates continue to stay high in 14 months, there's nothing to say we can roll it over again and you know, make some more money. I mean, there's never going to be a point where we're just sitting here going, oh my God, what are we going to do with all this money? So, you know.
And so that's for 13 months, right? You said
I
13
think
months, right?
it may be 14. It may be.
Yeah, I think 14 is what I remember.
So is that what you're recommending? 300,000, 14 months, 4.25, invest 4.33 yield?
Short of a bake sale, I don't know of any other way for us to generate money. You know what I mean? I mean,
Absolutely.
we are,
Absolutely.
we're in that.
300,000?
Yes, sir.
I move to put 300,000 in.
Okay, I'll second that.
Got a motion and second to put 300,000 out of our revenue account into a CD there at Citizens on their CD special. And I'll get that going this afternoon before they have a rates meeting tomorrow and change that rate.
Do you get points toward a trip or anything?
I do not get anything. All in favor? Any opposed? Okay.
Let me redo that real quick. Who first?
James.
James.
Gary.
Second.
Okay, just making sure.
All right. Save the best for last. House Bill 1027. And the discussion of raising our hotel tax to 3%. And here's why I want to discuss this today. Is this House bill that has been passed unanimously by the House and Senate as state legislator. And I didn't know anything about it until last week.
Yeah.
And it's already said and done, and that really upset me. Anyway, so right now, if we want to raise the rates for our A&P tax, it can be done through city council, just raising it. Okay? This House bill, which it's been passed, it's got an emergency clause, it's sitting on the governor's desk waiting to be signed, will make if we want to raise it in the future, we have to have a special election of the town. So if we want to raise it, and I'm almost afraid it's probably too late, because all we can do is recommend city council raise it. Is all we can do as A&P Commission is to vote to encourage city council to raise the hotel tax to 3%. And then I don't know if city council can pass that before the governor signs it. Because from my understanding is since it has an emergency clause, once the governor signs it, it's law. It's immediate. So we've got 3 months to get this done. It's got to be done this month.
So they're saying it's 3% across the board for the state of Arkansas.
No. What they're saying is, if you want to increase your A&P tax, you have to have a general election. You have to,
Just for that?
yes. Whereas right now, city council can just do it itself.
This applies only to sleeping.
The 3% would only apply to sleeping.
Okay, all right.
It would not be to restaurants.
Okay, and so another thing that probably need to be brought to our attention is that this tax will not affect the residents of Arkansas. It's for the people who come out of town and stay in our hotel. Is that correct?
Yes.
So it's not going to affect us.
Not
Right?
unless you have
Huh?
not unless you
Sleep in a motel.
Yeah, not unless I go sleep in a
Unless-
motel. Yes,
need
yeah,
a motel.
yeah, yeah.
But yes,
okay.
this
So-
is on hotels.
Okay, and so it needs to be brought to the city council, and the city council can vote on it.
Correct.
You hear that, James?
Oh, yeah.
But I want,
I would be
I don't
against
wanna
it.
know more about it.
and that's what I want to
Okay.
hear y'all's.
I would be against it.
Okay.
Because what will happen is when a person is traveling through, and a person who travels through a lot from state to state, no look, and they'll go online and they'll see the tax rate and they'll see what their final price is. That will deteriorate them from coming to Alma, where they can choose Sallisaw, because we got hotels in Sallisaw that's got a lower tax rate. I just bought the same thing in Sallisaw. Brian knows I'm all over the place. I'm in Sallisaw, Kansas City, all over the place. That's what I do, is go fight these tax laws and stuff like that. So Sallisaw is not going to push the hotel A&P for raising it, because that will deteriorate customers from coming to our town.
What's the rate in Salsa?
Sallisaw is like $13.50 or something like that right now.
What's the rate for Alma?
Alma, what's the rate?
Fifteen.
Yeah, 15.25.
So it's higher than
Because,
Fort
well,
Smith, because that's
yeah.
14.75%.
Yeah, it's higher. And
Yes, and
we're a small town. And
one of the things we have is Crawford County has one of the highest sales tax rates in the state.
Yes.
The county does, and that's where we're fighting a losing battle already. And then I don't know if most of y'all know, but the state has a 2% lodging tax already as well for tourism. So
yeah, we just bought
that does take us a competitive disadvantage from Oklahoma. But in the same breath, the cities around us, Van Buren and Fort Smith, are at 3%.
Yeah, but ours is higher still compared to Fort Smith. That's the thing. So,
Without being at 3%?
Yeah.
With them being at 3%, they're still lower than we
yes,
are?
yeah, Fort Smith is, yeah. So,
So what did you say, 15?
15.25.
So where does the 15 come from? Is 10 of that is
sales tax,
city and state?
city and state, lodging.
You got county, city, state, and then A&P.
Well, they've got to be paying more because I only pay 10.75.
Yeah, but it's completely different. There's more, there's a lodging tax.
Yeah, that's what I'm after.
Yeah.
So there's 2% from the state, and then that puts you at 12.75. What's the extra?
Let me pull it up real quick for you.
While he's pulling that up, I will, according to my math, this would increase, this is everything staying the same. Okay, so if occupancy rates stay the same as last year, it would have a additional income of 36,000.
Raising it 2 more percent?
Yeah.
Okay. For clarification, right, say that again.
If occupancy rates stay the same as last year,
And that was what percent is that? 3%?
1%.
that's
1%?
at 1%. If we take it from 1% to 3%, it would increase your tax revenue by 36,000.
That's how I follow it. But that might not be competitive.
Okay. So what if we, just wouldn't do anything now until we got this information?
We cannot do anything. That is a choice. But we just need to know, you just need to know that if we choose to do nothing right now, 2 years from now, if we do decide to do something, it's going to have to go to a general election or to a special election to increase the rate. Which,
And so we couldn't do it in the city council
correct,
ordinance,
correct,
we could not.
correct.
What does it cost to put on a special election?
And
Yeah, it would be
We're gonna
expensive.
find out pretty soon, I think.
I mean, that's the
Yeah.
other flip side of that is if we do a special election, what little bit we gain, we're gonna burn on that special election for
Sure.
5 years or whatever the expense.
Yeah, but how about a general election? General election, can it be added to
I
general
would
election?
think so.
I would think so too. Okay, so when's the next general election is 2024? Okay,
And I'm I just don't want to
Here's my-
lose this opportunity and
Here's my circular logic a little bit on this, to a degree. The extra money that we would raise, we would turn around and reinvest in advertising into the town to try to bring more people to your hotel. You see kind of where I'm going a little bit on
I
that?
follow that.
I mean,
But we've been in the hotel industry for such a long time, 20 years, and the way that guests think, if they're traveling families and stuff, they look at all that. And when they see like a city like when we're in Kansas City, didn't have that much taxes compared to a small town traveling through on 70. So we had a hotel on 70 over there in Kansas City. So we were able to determine that the A&P over there was 3%, 1% over here. And when you're paying the higher bucks in the summer, $100, there's a, higher cost to it too. People look at that.
How much is an average room?
Averaging about $85, $90.
So we're talking about adding, $3 to that, right?
But you have other taxes too.
Yeah.
No, but I mean, if we
Yeah.
increase it 2%, 2% of that's gonna be about
Yeah,
$3.
and then
$3.
Little Rock decides maybe next year we add another hotel occupancy, that's gonna go up too. So,
People look at the taxes and then look at parking. Those are
Yeah.
two main
yeah,
things.
those are the two main things that
That's
yeah.
Well, I mean, like I say, that was my only logic on that is that, the people we bring in are hopefully gonna stay. And
What we did was one town in,
How much is your room?
we fought the A&P because we had hotels there and other hotels.
We never say.
So what they did for that 1 year, they put a tax on grocery,
Now.
$1 tax. Anytime we went through a grocery, we spent
With the tax.
more than $50.
So,
It was a
with the
$1 tax
70,
towards groceries.
It's gonna add, $10.
Okay. Short question. How's your pool? Is it open?
Yeah, clarify.
No, it was a Marriott man, Hilton man.
I work for Hilton and Marriott.
Well,
It's a, just, we're a small town, and if we had more to offer, I would be gung ho about it. We've got, you go to big towns, Utah's got property in
So-
Little Rock also, so.
if we
It's
had.
easier to add it in a big town.
If we had the right project, would you be in favor of this? Like if we said, hey, we've got this project, but to be able to accomplish it, we're gonna have to raise the hotel tax. But here's the benefit, would you consider it?
Yeah, we would consider it, we would take a look at it, yeah.
Because once again, we're extremely limited in ways to raise revenue. This is only,
No, but I'll tell you, the way western Arkansas works and eastern Oklahoma, the way it works is 60% of your customers are your regular customers. They travel through the same time when they're going from East Coast or West Coast. Hey, we've stayed at that hotel, that's where we're gonna stay. Hey, this is the time, spring break too, it's the same identical people that are coming through the hotels. And when they see those tags,
They're traveling
it's
from
it's
Florida.
analytics and they've
That's
studied
the-
it. We put guys on it to see
Yeah,
the
they
same
go.
travel. It's either last names, license plates, or what. It generates a report saying this guy's been traveling the same road. And when you have like choice hotels or motels, they do analytics on the road that, okay, this guy went to this choice hotel, then he traveled through this hotel. So because if customers stop in Albuquerque, their next main stop is Alma, Arkansas. That's a 9-hour drive. That's their next location. So,
well, I mean, like I say, we're extremely limited in the number of ways to raise money. So, and it sounds like this one path is about to go away as soon as the governor finds a tent. So I'm sure she's got one laying around there somewhere.
He's still busy signing the learns. All right, so do we want to bring this to a vote or no?
Well, I am not trying to negatively affect anybody in the room. I kind of like the idea of if we have a special project, but to be honest with you, an extra 33,000, I'm not sure is gonna. I mean, it might fund a large project over time. You know what I'm saying? If we dedicated $30,000 a year over 10 years, And we have a number of large projects that, you know, are on people's vision block. I don't know. I see both sides of the coin. I mean, for sure.
Yeah.
You know, of course, obviously what we're trying to do is bring more people into town to stay at your hotel anyway. You know what I mean? What is your average occupancy rate? I mean, do you sell out on a regular basis or is there always vacancies?
About 68, 70%. It's the busy season starts in May through October.
I mean, so you've got room for more folks, you know. I would defer to the quorum as far as your opinion. I mean, we're trying to push that agenda of filling hotel rooms and bringing people to town. You know, to your point, you know, this isn't St. Louis. You know, there's not a ton to do. Hopefully the mayor is going to carry the torch of trying to help develop, you know, downtown and I think sponsoring the farmers market, you know, it's more of a permanent fixture than even our sponsorship of car shows and so forth. But you know, there's a benefit to both ways. Obviously, you know your business way better than we know.
And we just got hit yesterday. So Tyson's gonna close it.
Yeah,
So you have 65% of their supervisors traveling to hotels. They generate in our area between Van Buren, Alma, Fort Smith. Tyson spends over $1.3 million in hotel revenue dollars. That's gonna be lost.
Did they say why they're closing the plant?
We don't know. We're just shocked by it.
They're closing us and they're closing the plant in Virginia. Same day.
So that's
Yeah,
$1.3 million in hotel revenue.
Oh, yeah, they're closing it.
Yeah.
They're closing it, land.
Well, they've gotten into the,
How many do they employ there? 1,000 people?
900 is what the news was reporting.
500?
Yeah.
900.
they've gotten into the habit of cutting. With COVID, they cut down the number of lines. I used to be able to buy 18 different kinds of bacon. Now I can only buy 6. And so they've gotten into this mentality that we're going to make so much more money just by being simple. And they're eliminating just anything that they can eliminate. I wasn't aware that we were on the chopping block, but unfortunately that is, I guess, where we're at.
We have a report called the STAR report, so that's the first thing we looked at. Our
Not
area.
enough people's hard to
That's how much revenue is generated in our areas between Crawford, Sebastian County.
All right, well,
I'd say we table it. And
the table is gonna.
well, then we can vote on it. It's,
I mean, it doesn't matter, we don't.
I'm up either way. I mean, I see both sides of the coin for sure. I didn't I was just kind of under the impression that people, which I see what you're saying by regular people that travel all the time. You know, when I go out and ask for what the price of something is, I never ask for what it is with tax. I always, is the steak $25.95? Okay. I don't know what the tax is. You know what I mean? I didn't, and so I assume you guys don't advertise the tax price either, right?
No, it's broken down. It's broken down. It has to be.
I believe laws, you have to disclose that.
Well, disclose the tax, but I mean, you say rooms starting at $79.95, right, or something?
Plus tax,
Yeah, plus tax. Yeah.
But like if you book an Airbnb now, the room and then it has
Sure.
taxes.
And that's the other
They-
thing.
they have to
We're fighting
break
the
up
whole
those
thing with
fees.
Airbnb right now too.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure this tax raise would only apply to hotels and not them.
It's supposed to apply to them. But how many are in Allen city limits? 2, 3, maybe?
Yeah.
No,
Few.
include-
There's a lot.
A few.
I don't even
Yeah,
let
yeah.
I don't even let my
We're not
kids.
collecting
That's a few.
taxes from them, and that's probably something we should push the city council harder on. You know,
Okay, so if we do table it, what happens?
She'll sign.
She'll sign it and then it'll
That'll be
come.
the end of it.
And
We don't have to,
choice.
it hadn't come up in motion yet.
I'm just asking.
I mean, I'm just
Getting
saying,
additional
we can
information,
just,
right. So,
Move on.
we can decide we don't want to pursue it. It's,
And what is the,
We have a property in Russellville. Russellville, taxes are only 12%. That's including the A&P. The A&P sits at 1% over there too.
at 1% in Russellville,
Russellville.
so they have a 1%.
and what did you say, Fort Smith and Van Buren were?
they're at 3.
They're at 3.
They're at 3%.
But I mean, what's their overall? You said their overall is still,
I think 13.25 or something like that.
Van Buren is 15.2.
Yeah, 15, but Fort Smith was like 13.25.
14.75.
Yeah, 14.75.
and if we went 2%, this would put you at 17?
No.
What are you today here?
What are we today, Nico? What is our tax?
You're
rate now?
15.
15, yeah.
So it would be 17 if we did the two. You would think it would be more uniform.
Yeah. Yeah, you would think.
And what is the situation with the Airbnbs here in town? We do not charge the tax.
Do we even know?
We
who they
can,
are?
but
Yeah.
if we knew who they were, that's the
We-
key.
The thing about Airbnb is, they don't have to follow a lot of, the local laws. Like us, we gotta make sure we have handicap parking, handicap accessible rooms. That's that. They don't need any of that. So we have to spend extra money in the rooms, all that other stuff. So tomorrow we've got a huge meeting at the Capitol building. We're gonna go see the governor tomorrow.
Tell her I said hello.
Make sure she doesn't have a pen.
Take her pen.
So,
We've got a 9 o'clock meeting tomorrow with her.
but, so we should be charging a tax for these Airbnbs?
We should be, yes, if they're within the
City limits of Allen.
yes.
I mean,
Also, and I just talked to Chris about this, we should be charging a tax on party rental facilities.
okay.
So like the
Community
place up on 71, where they just built the retirement community that has a little building that's packed every Saturday and Sunday with a party. We should be charging A&P tax on that.
One thing I would suggest, and this is something that I meant to bring up, calling a March work session for the council, but it'll be April now. But for us to discuss as a council with A&P's blessing and everything, is trying to plug some of these little gaps that are around. Because when the ordinance was passed for the A&P, I can't remember the years, let's just say a couple years ago, right? It's been amended from a state legislature side.
Correct.
However, our ordinance is written basically copy and paste from the state legislature from that point in time. So it's been amended. So our ordinance does not pick up any of the amendments that the state has done over the last 5 to 10 years. So one of the things that we need to plug as far as like potential revenue sources coming in are like is the RV park once it finally kicks off. Because currently is with how the ordinance is written, we would not charge any type of tax, and we currently don't. There's one RV park inside the city limits right now. So going forward, I think that's something that, we need to look at from an A&P as well as the council perspective.
I think, thank you for bringing that up. If we focus on that, plugging the gaps, and doing a better job at assessing the penalties that we're allowed to assess on late payments, and making sure that the people are paying accurately and on time.
Didn't somebody mention that?
I think that would be.
I mentioned that a few months back.
I believe that would be a significant step towards making up that 36,000.
And
Well, my goal was not to make you not competitive. I assumed you guys were all relatively on the same playing field. I didn't realize there's a 2% difference, 10 miles apart. I'm not 100% sure how that
That's
happened.
when they stay multiple nights and stuff.
Sure.
That's what.
yeah, on a personal note, I completely agree is that, staying a fair amount with my work travel back before COVID, when I could actually travel.
Yeah.
I did look at the tax rates. We did look along those and from the algorithm goes. So, it is something that factors in, especially from repeat business.
Well, and our goal is to fill up your hotel. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's the bottom line is we'd like to see your occupancy rate at 88 instead of 68. And so in the long run, I mean, that's the goal. Maybe the RV park and the event centers and is there not a way to just track online by going to the Airbnb and seeing who's in Alma and who's offering and that's, you know what I mean? I mean, I'm not trying to get CSI Miami on this or anything, but I mean, obviously they're out here peddling their wares on the internet. Surely there's a way to research that and go, okay, it's come to our attention, send them a letter. I think a guy mentioned about sending letters too. And send them a letter and go, in the future, if you are doing this, these are the taxes that you're obligated to.
I think there may be some legal ramifications that we have to be careful of. We can't necessarily.
Sean's placard was out here a minute ago. Let's give it to him and
Let him earn his money?
Yeah, I mean, we're just limited in the number of ways that we can raise money. And people aren't paying extra. Lord knows there's some folks we're not even getting all we're supposed to get or not getting it all. And so, I mean, but in both y'all's cases, obviously you will benefit from us being able to do more for sure, but I had, you've given me an education today that I didn't have previously. I'm an old fogey and lived in the same house for 32 years and I don't get out much. So I'm not spending a lot of time in hotels. But I do want to see the A&P get funded to the absolute best of its ability so that we can give these folks every single dime we can, to promote what we're doing.
For the second time, I mean, is this something we want to pursue or drop? Take that silence as we'll drop.
Drop it.
All right. I have one more thing, but I don't think it needs. The governor does have a new task force on outdoor tourism. I don't know if y'all have seen this. It's got a lot of the outdoor people, of course, from Northwest Arkansas, Stuttgart, and El Dorado. Formed this task force to drive the outdoor tourism.
And her husband is the director. She's appointed her husband.
Boy, what a
Believe
good
that,
news.
right?
Probably.
I believe.
Anyway, I think
Yeah.
we need to probably write them, the task force people, a letter from our A&P just saying, hey, when y'all are getting stuff together, Alma's got some cool things, don't forget about us. So, just to get on their radar. So,
And,
I think Chris can probably do that, and I don't think we need a motion for it. But
okay.
I just want y'all to know, I think that'd be a great idea.
Okay, so, I know you guys have been patient, but I have one other thing, and, probably we won't meet in March. Brian kind of hinted on that subject, and so,
Need a break.
huh?
No,
Yeah,
we need to,
Okay.
we will.
okay, and so we have Amber here with the Boys and Girls Club, and she has some information for us, right? Hand out right quick.
Okay. Today is full of surprises. You want to pass those around for me?
We need to adopt this.
Whatever you want to do. You can send me anything.
Did we ever get the pizza dance coming?
What's that?
Did we ever get the pizza dance coming? Went there like 8, 9 months in.
Yes and no, we can discuss that.
Do you have a copy of this for everyone?
No, I do not.
I would
I
say
can
we give everybody a copy, have them look over it, and see if there's anything else to add, take away, and give it back to you.
Let me get Ron.
Okay.
Yeah, hey Ron, will you make copies?
You have to go with the pizza.
I guess so.
Sorry.
Yeah, get that, your eggs cut up for the salad.
Now, that salad bar is pretty good.
That salad bar is great.
Hey Gary, do you want me to tell them all about it?
You go right ahead. You're much
Absolutely.
better looking than Gary is. Not that I don't like Gary, but.
Well, of course, at the Boys and Girls Club, we have all kinds of projects and needs we're looking at. For those of you that don't know me, I'm Amber Michaels. I'm the new CEO of the Boys and Girls Club here in Alma, as well as our other 3. So we have a very big footprint. I'm learning. I get to drive it every day. So this right here, this is kind of an immediate need. We're looking at other ways to bring the community in, share our space with community members as well as outside of community people. You can see on this handout our reach, because tourism and communication go hand in hand, I'm sure you guys know. You want as many people to know where Alma's at, and you want them to come here and you want them to spend money. So we, on a daily, Monday through Friday, we have approximately 150 members come to the club and staff. Of course, there are people that come and pick up those members. So Monday through Friday, the club sees an average 300 people. On the weekends, we have 2 churches that use the space. They have approximately 80 people that come and attend their services. So then there's that reach. And not all of those people are from Alma either. We're also letting outdoor folks use our space for sports activities, pickleball, basketball practices, you name it, as far as sports goes. Birthday parties, we've had Nerf war parties go on lately, which is, I think it's pretty cool. I'd like to participate in one, but they say I'm the grown-up. And we're also kind of branching out. We're going to have a pageant in April. In July, we have wrestling coming to Alma. We anticipate that'll draw a pretty good crowd. It's a family-friendly event happening at the club.
Kind of wrestling, like real wrestling or
Like
like?
WWE
WWE,
wrestling,
yeah.
they have a whole
And they're gonna have
setup.
a bear, especially for you. I'm gonna take pictures, you wrestling the bear.
I got it.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and of course, just like in August, we hosted a nice fundraising event, put on a casino for the community. And of course, it wasn't just Alma people that attended. So my point is that we have a pretty good reach as far as our members goes and the people that are already using our space. So all those people tell their friends. Our 4.2 thousand followers on Facebook, they share our posts, our reach every month, just with the basics, sharing what our kids are doing daily. is on average at least twice as much as what our followers number is. So we have a good reach. We have a good communication platform. We even have the digital sign right on the highway that people use to get to Airedale Stadium, that people use to get to the Performing Arts Center. So we're in a great location as well to have these events that bring people into the town that spend money. I'm pretty sure the folks that are coming to see the wrestling event will probably stop at some restaurant, eat something, come to the show, fill up their car with some gas, get a drink on the way back home, possibly stay in a hotel. It's a good possibility, because I know I have to stay at the club till midnight that night. So those folks that are probably entertaining will be staying in your hotel. Anyway, so my ask that we really need right now is to fix the space where we hold the most people. Our basketball court. We've had some moisture issues in the building that I think have contributed to the condition of our floor. It's really brittle, and you can pick it up in some spaces and see the concrete slab underneath it. So it's not safe, it's not attractive. And in order for us to continue to use that space and make it attractive for people to want to use that space, we would like to redo that floor. And in addition to that, it would be nice if we could upgrade our bathrooms. It's very old school. We need touch-free faucets, hand dryers, to kind of cut down on waste. I don't like trash. I don't want my space trashed when the kids come back in. So I think things like that would be really nice. So that's basically my spiel. Do you guys have any questions?
Do you have estimates on what any of these projects are gonna cost?
We have been looking at different types of flooring. We don't have, and so I have ballparks. If we went with this snap floor that's like a rubber floor, what we have now is just rolls of stuff. It's very thin. And so there's some snap rubber stuff that we could get. Average, that's about $77,000 for a floor like that. However, there's a local guy in Fort Smith that's working on a quote for us for a wooden gym floor for that space.
How would you recognize our contribution?
There's so many ways, Brian.
Let's hear them.
So,
I want to see if you say the magic one.
the magic one. We can totally list City of Alma on our digital sign, on our website. We can sing your praises all over our social media channels, and also word of mouth. You've got 300 people that come to the club daily, chatter. Basketball courts are also a really good way to advertise. You can put your City of Alma logo, A&P Commission
That's the
logo,
magic one right there.
whatever you can create. We can put it on a basketball court. And I think it would be really good for the community. It all goes back to the kids, supporting the kids, and this would also create an avenue for the club to have some funding coming in to take care of our kids.
I know y'all have like basketball teams, AAU teams and stuff practice at your facility. At one time, there was discussion of having a big basketball tournament in Alma and using the club as one of the courts. You mentioned the wrestling, any other things that might be
A couple of
discussed, I guess?
We've discussed having volleyball clinics there. The basketball, I'd love to have a basketball tournament. We're working really good with the schools right now. We've really built a great connection. Dr. Duffy and I, he's taken me around to the different schools. We've got like a set monthly thing. So I think, that is going to help us. School's a good partner to have.
I want to put another one in your ear, cornhole.
Oh, yeah.
Great.
I have
Great space for a wintertime cornhole.
Yes.
You gonna show up for the cornhole tournament?
Yeah, they're fun. They're fun.
Do you think that
Can I have a beer in
you
there?
resolve the moisture issues? Or
Well, we actually are looking at having somebody do that. Kelton, the guy that's on that committee, he's looking into getting a painter to come out and seal it up and put the proper copper seal on that block. So, yeah, we're addressing those needs, because why put down a new floor if we're gonna have the same problem, right?
That was gonna be my comment, yeah.
Now that we're aware of the situation, we can do something about it.
Okay.
The churches pay a fee to use your building?
They do. Mhm. They do.
So are we looking to sponsor something today, or is this something to be on our long-term agenda? or-
No, I just, I don't have an accurate number, and I really like to be a good steward of money. So, but I did, I've heard about, the other organizations that have been awarded money. So I thought that it was kind of important that we kind of get you guys considering this anyway, just so as you plan moving forward, allocating the rest of your funds for the year, that you do keep us in mind.
Yes, no, I appreciate that.
Absolutely.
And,
What did we
the
sponsor?
more things we can do to make Alma a venue, I think the better.
What was that last thing we sponsored for?
So, for who? Softball fields?
No,
Baseball fields?
for the,
Boys and Girls Club?
Yeah.
We
done
haven't.
anything.
no,
We have-
you signed me up for.
Oh, the casino night?
Oh,
Do you have many more of those type? Did that generate any revenue other than sponsorships for it?
We had a really good auction from that night. It was about $30,000 from that night. We have May 5th, we continually have something going on, trust me. We have May 5th, we will have a Cinco de Mayo Youth of the Year golf tournament at Eagle Crest. And I'm really looking forward to that, because it's a whole theme. It's taco bar and mulligan margaritas, and we still need sponsors, just saying. And we are going to have October 28th, we will have Casino Royale, a James Bond theme, so you can dress up and you can come to Casino Night October 28th.
So if I challenge you and the board of the Boys and Girls Club, when we come to funding for this, to have a list, and I want to say 4, just like quarterly, a list of stuff like wrestling, stuff like a basketball tournament or a cornhole tournament, just some type of event that is not geared towards members and citizens, but geared towards tourism.
Gotcha.
Uh,
I can do it.
And it can be something you put on, or is it another organization putting it on and using your facility?
Mhm. Like the lady who's doing the pageant, the last one she did was actually at the Paris Club.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
let's do this in Alma. So.
Okay.
Well, if you could have, like I say, some relatively hard numbers on, and what our portion that would help put you over the top to make those things happen. I mean, obviously, private sponsorship not withstanding, we would kind of need to know what to do, how much would make a difference that we would be able to put you over the top to make that happen. Because obviously you can't put a floor down piecemeal, you've got to do the
Right.
whole thing at the same time, so.
Right.
So that would be helpful to know where the number is that.
Yeah, we'll need like the entirety of that. It's tight for nonprofits, and there's just not a,
So you're saying that $2 a kid that you charge isn't getting you rich?
it's surprising, I know.
I understand.
Thank you,
But
Amber.
yeah, I can get you whatever you need.
Thank you.
Thank you guys.
Thank you.
thank you.
This last thing, what Chris passed around is funding request. please look at that.
Yeah, okay.
And if there's any changes you want him to make, take away or add, please let him know. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna post this on the website, and going forward, whoever wants to present a request to us is gonna have this in by the end of the month previous, so that Chris can get these out to us 3 to 4 days before our meeting, so that we can review them and kind of know a little of what's going on before we get to the meeting. So hopefully that'll expedite our meeting times. Is that it?
I don't have anything. Oh, I do have one thing. I'll make it quick. So there's been a couple of businesses that they would come in and bring in their A&P monthly report, their tax report, and it was just haphazardly filled out and clearly incorrect, based upon what I know about their business. And anyway, I rejected them. I rejected receiving them. So I said, hey, here's the new form. I gave them the new form that has the tax rate and everything. And I said, you need to give this to your accountant or bookkeeper, whomever does this form for you, and get it corrected. That has been the case. And so
Good.
they've since turned it in, and it was, let's just say, more accurate than previous times. So
Good.
We're going to continue in that same course.
Good deal.
That's Christian.
All right.
Thank you.
Entertain a motion to adjourn.
So,
Second? All right.
I didn't hear.
Second.
Okay. O'Toole, second.
Okay.
Thank you, guys. I know that was a long meeting, but we got some important discussions out of the way. I appreciate it.
Very easy.
I have a bunch more.
Thursday, I think, hey.
Thursday.
That's what he said.
Oh,
Yeah,
Thursday.
that's what he said.
Hey, only 20 times.
Thank you.
Pinocchio.
But I couldn't see anything.
We'll have another identity.
Yeah.
You know what it is.
One second. Stop me.
Okay.
You're still alive.
Well, we don't have all of the finals.
All right. Okay. All right.
Oh.
So,